Alright, here goes the GM buyback video, much anticipated for me, because I drive a GM right now. It's a Bolt, Chevy Bolt 2020, and looking at the situation on the Facebook group, it's a handful of information, honestly, to decipher through. But I have a representative I'm working with. I also have TC Chevy down in Ashland, a shout out to them, which have been great. People there to give me the insight on what's happening. So here's the deal. There's three options in this video for me and anyone else has a Chevy Bolt who's looking at what they want to do. Look at it like this, okay? You can either get your battery repaired and just go with that, and I think it's actually even some of the electronic components, the wiring and harnessing and all this stuff that causes the issue. That's option 3. You can take that option. They'll give you a rental car. They'll, reimburse you after the fact for any, gas and cost for that rental car, and they'll fix it however long that takes. Option 2, which is, from what my representative down at this dealership said, probably the best option, is they'll actually give you a new car. And I don't know how legit that is, but it goes off of MSRP, which usually these Bolts run between $34,000 and $38,000, depending if you have the Premier or just the regular model. So you can take that option. They'll take your car and probably crush it or whatever, and then they'll give you a brand new one. And that's kind of cool if you have, say, like me, a year-old car with almost 25,000 miles on it and some little dings and, damage, and I can get a brand new one. My loan, which is around $24,000, will still be with my credit union. I won't get that, taken away, and I will just get a brand new car. And then I'm not sure the logistics and legality of, okay, what about the issue now with the new cars, because they still have the same issue with the supposedly battery degradation or catching on fire. So, to me, if thinking about what I want to do, I was originally thinking about option number 1, which is a buyback. And I'm still going to consider that as the option number 1 for me, because I want to see what offer they'll give me. I've heard on the Facebook group for, Chevy Bolts that they sometimes get $28,000 offered, or, 25, whatever it is. It would have to be more than the actual loan amount, because I have to pay that loan off. So if they're going to come back for an offer for $21,000, I still have to owe $3,000 to the bank. It's not going to be in my best interest, because then I got to go buy another car, and what's the point, right? And especially since I can't list my car now with Toro and other things, because they want the battery recall issue fixed before they think it's a safety issue, they can have it on their site. So legality wise, I don't think it's in my best interest to just go along with any of the 3 options unless it makes sense. Because I, for instance, want to know number 2 option. If they give me a brand new car, can I list that on Toro? Is it still have to be repaired? Do I waive all my rights to that just because I did the trade-in for a new vehicle? Or do they still have the same issue with all the brand new ones? Is what the dealership up in Eugene told me. So I'm looking at the option. I want to see, once they get the rest of the information, they want to see the registration, the license, the amount of miles your car has. They want to see the whole contract that you had originally from the dealership, and all this stuff in an email form so they can review it, and then they submit it to GM. So anyway, I'm looking at that and saying to myself, okay, well, you're going to have a good option hopefully in the future, next couple months, to figure out towards the end of the year what you want to do with your car, because GM's about to lose $1.1 billion on this recall. All of the new 2020s and 2021 models have the same issue, all the way back to 2017. So my father, brother-in-law, I'm sorry, he has a 2017, I think, Bolt. He could have the same thing with that, and man, it's all right to be able to basically take an option of repairing your battery if that's one. But if they're going to offer you a brand new 2022 model, why don't you take it? I mean, it's a no-brainer, because you get a brand new car. So I'm going to offer that to him as an option to look into, and I have the number for the person I'm working with. I think he's in Illinois, near Chicago. So anyway, I'm working with someone personally. It's not that hard. You go onto their webpage, you type in the information, they'll get back to you pretty quick, and they'll help figure it out. It takes about 60 to 90 days, honestly, before the whole thing is figured out completely and finalized, and GM will offer you that number if you're talking about the buyback, and then give you that check, come pick your car up. But most of the time, people aren't going to take that option unless it's maybe a very brand new one and it has, hardly any wear and tear. But they could possibly offer you a good offer and then take that and pay off your loan and have a little extra to buy another car with. Go get yourself a different EV if you don't want to deal with GM anymore. Get yourself a Prius or a Hyundai or a Tesla or, you know, even a Ram. You know, there's lots of models of cars out there to get, but truth of the matter is, the Chevy Bolt has got its quirks. It's a good EV. I got it because of the mileage and price. If the mileage is now limited because you have to put your battery at 80% or 90% capacity, you're never going to get that 250 miles on a charge. For me, honestly, I like the Chevy Bolt, but there's a couple of little quirks that I really hate. The electronics and the smartness of the computer system really sucks. I like the brights, how they automatically go on. I think that's a really cool feature, but most cars have that now. I like that it's an EV. I always wanted an electric car, but you know, most models are going to be that in the future. So there's nothing to being tied to the Chevy brand, honestly. Ford's a really cool brand. Also, Tesla, you know, Hyundai, all the ones like Toyota are really reliable. I don't even know like what I'm going to get if I don't have a Chevy, honestly. But it's not always the best thing to have an electric car these days. If it's just something that I want because I like the future and the technology behind it, then okay, it's worth the price. I mean, $30,000 for a car is not bad these days. That's what they all cost typically. The Toyota RAV4, you know, that's a really good one. But again, you can't even get cars really all that you want necessarily. You get a used one that's a couple years old. That's the best deal always. You get best creation. But this video is not about that. It's more about the GM recall, and so I wanted to cheer that up with anyone who's interested. All right, cheers.